We're here with Mr. Nader Fakhouri. Thank you, Mr. Fakhouri, for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about the involvement of the American Arab Chamber of Commerce with the community.
This is an absolute great venue. The CEO of the organization, Faye Beydoun, has done a wonderful job creating an avenue where Arab Americans are free to empower other folks in the community and working with the U.S. government and showing the country and really the world our economic power here locally.
Thank you, Mr. Fakhouri. We appreciate everything that you do for our community.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening. Hello, I'm Nadia Fadlallah, and we're here today at the 27th Annual Gala for the Arab American Chamber of Commerce. Today we have Mr. Milan Stevanovic with us. And Mr. Stevanovic, we're so glad you're joining us here today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. By the way, I'm glad to be here. I'm Vice President of Global Strategy with the Detroit Chinese Business Association. Faye and I have done a lot in hosting international delegations, bringing in a plethora of foreign direct investment into Michigan, creating all sorts of jobs and opportunities, as well as helping Michigan-based companies do business overseas. And just very excited to be here, very excited to see such a great, diverse audience and people committed to the betterment of our region and to help internationalize our community.
Yes, we're very glad to have you here, and hopefully you'll enjoy your evening tonight.
Looking forward to a great time. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? We're here with Debbie Dingle. Thank you for being here tonight. We always appreciate all the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any advice or anything that you'd like to say to the Arabic community in a very important time in politics?
I think that this community, they're Arab Americans, and they never forget that they're Americans, but people don't. We need to talk about who they are. They're my neighbors. They're my community. They're my doctors, my pharmacists, the business people. And other people are trying to frame and describe who they are, and they're the most wonderful, loving community there could be. So tonight we're celebrating the success of the Arab American community, the Arab American business community. And it just is a wonderful evening.
Yes. We always appreciate your support. We always appreciate you being here. You are a trailblazer, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. It's great to be with everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. With Congressman Brenda Lawrence. She's supporting us here at the Arab American Chamber of Commerce today. Thank you for being here today. Do you have any advice for us?
So I started out supporting MEA and the Chamber as a mayor. And so when you're a mayor, you're very uniquely attached to the success of your businesses and the economic development that they bring. And so my suggestion and my comment is that networking like this, everyone getting together, what's working for you, what's not, how can we work together is what builds a community and a chamber. That's the value, because I see someone, I want to build a house, guess what? You put roofs on and someone else does cement, and we come together and we form a partnership, and we can all, be successful.
Right. Every one of us has a special role in this community, and it's nice to be recognized. We appreciate you being here, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're here with Congressman Mr. Levin.
Hi, how are you? Good to be with you.
Great. We would like to know how you feel about the current events and how we're going to diversify and make the Arab community more welcome, feel more welcome.
That is such a great question. I've been active in trying to bring, I'm Jewish, especially Arabs and Jews together for a really long time. In 1990, I helped organize an interfaith delegation to Israel and Palestine with Muslims, Christians, and Jews, people of all backgrounds. And we went there to Gaza, throughout Israel, throughout the West Bank. And, at that time I said, wow, we can all work together, both about the Middle East, but also about our country, here in our community. So in terms of what's going on here, We are facing an unprecedented level of anti-Muslim bigotry, and we're facing rising anti-Semitism. Just this last week, there was an attack at a synagogue in Grand Rapids. The Jewish community needs to understand we're in this together with the Muslim community, with the Arab American community, and with others that white supremacists attack, like Sikhs or Indian Americans who they think are Muslims.
Yeah.
You know, they're so ignorant, they don't even know. I hope that this difficult moment can bring all of us together to realize we're all children of God, we're all equal, we should all love each other and work together to make a beautiful world, and we can do that. And that's what my leadership is all about. I mean, I represent Michigan's 9th district, and that includes southeast Oakland and southern Macomb counties. A lot of mosques in Warren and that area. We have a lot of Bangladeshis moving in. It's so fantastic. All different kinds of people. And the richness of this country has always been that people come from everywhere and are so bought in to the American dream, which isn't just about money and a white picket fence and a decent house. It is that. It is a middle-class life, but it's really about democracy and equality and justice. And the Arab American community believes so strongly in that, and the Jewish community does, and the Sikhs, and the Bangladeshis, and Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists. So we all need to work together, and that's what I'm about. And that's why it's so important for me to come to this Arab American Chamber of Commerce event. The Arab American Chamber does such great work.
Yes.
And I'm such an advocate of small business.
And we're so grateful that you're here with us today.
Oh my God,
we
I'm
need
just happy
more
to be.
voices like yours.
Well, thank you.
We
for having me.
appreciate it. Thank you
you
very much.
All right, thank you. All right, take care.
Cyber attacks that I think many of your businesses are being impacted by on a regular basis. In fact, every 14 seconds in this country, someone is a victim of ransomware attack. And they tend to be businesses that are in this room right here. The average ransomware attack cost a business from $80,000 to $150,000. And this is a statistic that is particularly troublesome. If you are a small business and you're hit by a ransomware attack, 60% of businesses that have that attack are out of business in 6 months. We have to strengthen our defenses, so that's what we're doing. I've got several bills that we've already passed some to work to bring in Department of Homeland Security, to team with the SBA, and to team with small businesses. I want to team with you. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your challenges. And together, we're going to confront this threat to make sure that your business continues to be vibrant and strong. So thank you for having me here today. God bless all of you, and look forward to another wonderful evening.
Thank you, Senator Peters. Now it gives me great honor to introduce our very own, someone that has been there for the Arab American community for many, many, many years, our very own Congresswoman, Deborah Dinkle.
So I've seen lots of friends just even come in the room. You know, normally when I want to thank Faye and the leadership of the entire Arab American Chamber for all the work that they do. But you know, it's great to welcome Senator Stabenow and Senator Peters, my colleagues, and Andy Levin, who's like become my brother, and Andy and I work on a lot of stuff together, and Brenda Lawrence as well. But you know, we're gathering at a time where we need to worry about what's happening in this country. And there are things that and normally I give you the business, you know, rah-rah. I talk about everybody in this room in Washington every single week, and my colleagues will tell you that. But I never thought that we would say today in the United States of America that we would take freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of press under attack. Or it's something that we cannot just assume is going to be there. And so as we gather another week, crazy week in Washington, I just want to tell you how important it is that we not allow hatred to divide us in this country, period. And I tell people about who my neighbors are, because my neighbors are you all. And I want to thank all of you for what we
Congresswoman. Now it gives me great pleasure to welcome Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence.
I want to say good evening to everyone. It's an honor to be here today because you are the economic engine of Michigan. All of you collaborate, and your creative mind and your risks that you take to invest in your businesses. And you need a government that works. You need trade. You need intellectual regulations. I introduced a bill to have an ethics standard for AI. Anyone in this room, you're going to be impacted by technology. I want you all to know that so many things are being talked about, and you gather in this room and you say, what about us business owners? My first committee was small business, and so I had a first base look at the services and challenges that are had by small businesses. I want you to know that I uniquely understand that. I sit on appropriations, and that's getting the money out to the community, ensuring that we fund our government and programs that make our communities work. So as I watch the government's dollars, I'm going to be your partner to help you in building your businesses, and I want to thank everyone here. It's something unique about a business person in America. And when you come to this country, some of you are first, second, third generation of those who stepped up and said, to be a part of America, I will start my own business. So God bless you, thank you, and I want to say that this woman is amazing, and I thank her for her leadership. God bless you.
Thank you, Congresswoman Lawrence. And now our final speaker for the reception, Congressman Andy Levin.
Thank you, Faye. All right, so I want everybody's attention because I have a little sad announcement I have to make. A lot of you heard that we lost a really distinguished member of the House of Representatives, our chairman of the Government Oversight Committee, Elijah Cummings. And then today, we've lost one of our great statesmen of Michigan. Our Governor, Bill Milliken, passed away just recently. So I'm sorry to tell you that. I thought you'd want to know. I just want to say, in these times that my colleagues have talked about that are so difficult for our democracy, you know, my dad ran twice against Bill Milliken for governor of Michigan, and they were close and hard-fought races. But they became really great friends, and it's going to be really, really sad for me to leave this room and go call my dad and tell him the Governor Milliken passed away. So, all I want to say to you is, Republicans and Democrats, we all need to support our businesses. For 8 years before I ran for Congress, I was a small businessman and entrepreneur creating a new kind of business with Khalil Rahal and other partners in local government, Wayne County, all the counties around here, and we created a statewide clean energy finance network that's helping many businesses around the state get a new kind of capital to improve their efficiency and their bottom line. And in Washington, I'm just there to be Ahmed Jabani's partner, Faye Beydoun's partner. You all keep joining and participating in the Arab American Chamber of Commerce because we need organizations like this to partner with us in government to turbocharge our businesses. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Please, a warm welcome now for Sean Conway. so much, he tells me that that's a 12 to 15-year, 100-year-old instrument. Began that many years ago, that instrument. It's fabulous. In just a moment, we're going to stand for our national anthem. Now please stand for our national anthem, sung by Sophia Beydoun, Maria Saad, and Layla Salha with the Scout Middle School Theatrical Group.
would make this go a little bit quicker. I came to the podium, he didn't get the message, but thank you all very much for being here with us tonight. Honorable officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my sincere pleasure and honor to welcome you here this evening on behalf of the American Arab Chamber of Commerce as we celebrate our 27 years of building economic bridges. I would like to thank our sponsor partners, Comerica Bank and DTE Energy, and tonight's speakers, and congratulate our awardees and all of you for being with us this evening. Thanks to the strong leadership of our board of directors and the dedication of our members, the American Arab Chamber of Commerce is the largest Arab American, I think you already said that, I can skip that one, thank you. Domestically, with more than 1,500 members, the Chamber offers a valuable benefit and service of networking opportunities as well as events, seminars, and programs to support and promote our member businesses. Internationally, the Chamber has made tremendous strides to promote exports and foster trade between the U.S.-based companies and businesses located in the MENA region. And more recently, where we are embarking on new initiatives while we work with the state of Michigan and the U.S. government agencies to become more global and increase the number of exports from the region and direct investment coming into the state of Michigan. Most recently, we have worked with the Dubai Investment Authority and the Qatar Foundation to bring investments to Michigan, as we have also hosted delegations from the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Tunis, and Morocco to assist in increasing trade between the regions. We are very proud of the work that we put forth with our dedication and professionalism, and that we are continuously seeing multinational corporations and small businesses seeking our support and advice to grow globally. We are very proud of the programs that we offer to our business community and look forward to continuing to work with all of you towards the common goal of an economically strong Michigan. As I look across this room and observe the level of support surrounding us this evening, including the familiar faces that have remained at our side over the years.
Our efforts to reduce foreclosures and keep individuals in their homes does involve the business community, as I said. We know that if a business gets foreclosed today, many of the employees of that business could very likely face foreclosure in the near future. We don't separate the two, the business and the homeowner. And with that in mind, we know that the foreclosure problem can be solved. We work with the supervising mayors every year. Mayor O'Reilly's one we work with diligently. We've been able to reduce foreclosures outside Detroit. Detroit is a little more difficult because, you know, you got high insurance rates. A lot of the businesses left the city, people lost their jobs. There's a lot of issues in the city, so Detroit is going to take a little more work. But a lot of the cities in Wayne County and townships have reduced their foreclosures. Let me tell you a couple facts. There are 12 municipalities in Wayne County that have 0 foreclosures. There are another 15 that have 10 or less. So when I said a few years ago I wanted to have 0 foreclosures, people just laughed at me, said, that's just a joke, you know, it's never going to happen. But our goal really is to get it down to 0. And it's working. It's working because we have partners who go out with us, who care, nonprofit agencies, businesses. You can't do anything today without public-private partnership. That's my opinion. You cannot do anything successfully today without a public-private partnership. Another example, we had a few people this year, 370 people who owe less than $1,000. They're about to get foreclosed. So one of the nonprofits worked with us and said, look, we can try to help. If we get them out of foreclosure, we can maybe do a matching program. If they come up with $400, we'll pay the other $400 and then get out of foreclosure. We said, fine, we'll try this. One of our banks doesn't want to be named yet because they want to wait till the program is finished and we can announce it was a real success. Came up with $300,000. Said, we're going to help. We're going to help them. We're going to help keep these people in their homes. So a public-private partnership today is critical because of all the budget cuts that we have going on from the state level, even in Washington. We need public-private partnerships. One more story, then I'll conclude. This year, one of our cashiers who's here today, Galia Jafar, works in our office. She was helping one of the taxpayers who came in. The lady was 94 years old in a wheelchair. She came in and asked about her property. Said it's going to foreclosure. So she said, oh, I can't believe this. My house is going to foreclosure. My daughter died in a fire last year. I have nowhere to go. I'll be on the street. So she started crying. And then Galia, she started crying. And so the cashier is crying, the taxpayer is crying, and then there was a man at the next window paying his taxes. He heard about it. He heard the commotion, wanted to know what's going on. He heard the story. He said, well, how much do you need to pay your taxes and get your house back? She said, $5,000. He said, I'm going to the bank. I'll be back in a few minutes. He went to the bank. He got a cashier's check and paid her taxes. So Galia, she called him the walking angel. So it was a great story. Main message we have for people is that you have to come and talk to us. You have to come and see us, and that there's some really good people out there today who are willing to help. So we want to reach out to people. We believe our goal is very achievable. May God continue to bless you. Thank you again for recognizing the work that I do.
Here to accept the award on behalf of CMS Energy is Reggie Hayes, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer of CMS Energy and its principal subsidiary, Consumers Energy. Now listen to this about Reggie. Before joining CMS, Mr. Hayes was Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer of ITC Holdings in Novi. Under his leadership as CFO, ITC's market capitalization increased from $4.7 billion to $7 billion. Prior to ITC, Mr. Hayes was Assistant Treasurer and Director of Corporate Finance and Financial Strategy for Exelon Corporation in Chicago, but we brought him here. And we're doubly fortunate he left Chicago for Metro Detroit because in addition to his business impact, he serves on the boards of the Detroit Zoological Society, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. He's a trustee for the Cranbrook Educational Community and vice chairman of the board of the Cranbrook Institute of Science. Sounds like quite an accomplished man, wouldn't you say? So it's no surprise he was recognized by Crane's Detroit Business and the Michigan Chronicle as one of their distinguished 40 under 40. Please welcome Mr. Reggie Hayes to the stage.
Thank you, Mary, for that very nice introduction, and good evening, everyone. Just floored to be here, really am. And when I've heard the stories of everyone who's been awarded tonight, Zaid, Michael, where's Eric? Eric, I just wanted to tell you, Eric, we are, as one of the largest property taxpayers in the state, we are very current. So I want to make sure, just leave you with that. And in all sincerity and candor, I'm also pinch hitting for our CEO, Patty Poppy. Patty was conflicted tonight, otherwise she would be joining you all for this wonderful event. And it's interesting, and in the interest of full disclosure, I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and my better half and I both travel a great deal for work, and she's been out of town for the last 4 days. And so when I had the opportunity to pinch hit for Patty this evening and got a nanny, I jumped at this opportunity. So it's just lovely to be in the sanctuary of adulthood. But in all seriousness, thank you for having me. Faye, the board members of the American Arab Chamber of Commerce, this is truly an honor, and I'm just really floored to be here, so thank you. So I'll just offer a few quick remarks, and then I'll leave you to the evening. So I just, in full disclosure, obviously we have quite a bit to celebrate tonight when it comes to building bridges, and I think we can all agree that there's still much to be done in the interest of full sincerity. So I'll just take a quick trip down memory lane. For those of you who don't know me, I'm not from Michigan. I'm actually from Massachusetts. I've only been here for 7 years, but just to tell you a little bit about my story, my parents met in Boston. My mother is an immigrant from Barbados, and my father grew up in the South End projects in Boston. And they made a pretty wise decision shortly after getting married that they did not want my sister and I, who had yet to be born, to grow up in an area where my father grew up. And so they moved to this small suburb called Andover, Massachusetts over 44 years ago, which really changed the course of my life. And I'm certain I would not be here in front of you all had they not made that decision over 44 years ago. So, needless to say, I was lucky, and plenty of my contemporaries did not have that good fortune. But here we are in 2019, and there's still work to do. So not every student has an equal opportunity to succeed. Not every person of color has the same chance to pursue their dreams. Not all of our veterans who have served this country honorably are able to make an easy transition to the civilian workforce. And that is why we continue working with leaders throughout our communities to build bridges and press ahead for progress. We press ahead because we believe cultural and economic bridges are worth fighting for. We believe in celebrating our shared successes and going above and beyond to ensure everyone has equal access to opportunities. And we believe that as Michigan's largest energy provider, we have a unique opportunity to help make that a reality. So what we're doing at Consumers Energy to bring these beliefs to life. We start by running a business that is not just in service of the bottom line, but a triple bottom line. We do not go to work simply for profit, but for people, the planet, and prosperity. Now, as CFO and as a former recovering investment banker, my hand shakes a little bit when I say that, but I do mean that with all sincerity, and every single employee at Consumers Energy believes that and espouses that point of view. So what does that look like in practice? It's providing a safe, enriching, and diverse environment for our coworkers because they drive our mission of world-class performance delivering hometown service, and we want them to be successful. It's caring for our customers because they're our friends, families, and neighbors. It's investing in the communities we serve because we live here too. And it's taking action to preserve and protect our natural resources because we see a future where our kids are playing on our beaches, exploring our forests, and simply breathing clean air. So as it relates to building economic and cultural bridges, this commitment to a triple bottom line means going above and beyond merely running a business. It also means fostering a diverse business community. We do that by inspiring students of all backgrounds and abilities to explore careers in science, technology, engineering, and math, which are forecasted to have explosive job growth in the coming years. And in fact, every year, many of our employees volunteer as mentors for FIRST robotics teams teaching teamwork skills, and instilling a passion for engineering. We're also annual sponsors for FIRST robotics competitions throughout the state. And Patty, as well as many of our employees, position themselves in the pit alongside the students and cheer them on year in and year out. We have a strong partnership with the Detroit area pre-college engineering program.
Michael?
Good evening. Dr. Riskin, thank you so much for those words. And we do go all the way back to Highland Park, don't we? To the other awardees this evening, my congratulations. I'm honored and proud to be amongst you. And your stories, Abe, is phenomenal, touching. It's those first business deals you never forget. To the Arab American Chamber of Commerce and all its board members, thank you so much for honoring me this evening. To Faye Ahmed, thank you so much for your graciousness and the way you approached me about this award and this evening. Faye, when you first told me about the Bridge Builder Award, I have to tell you, all I heard was bridge. And then I realized it was a metaphor. Earlier this evening, when I walked in, so many people I saw, it felt like coming home. This is my community. This community is what molded me. Our background, our ethnic and religious background, meant so much to me as a young man. We spent so much time with our people. I grew up focusing on merchants. That's what we were. My grandparents, my parents, my aunts, my uncles, they were all in business. That's what we wanted to do. My father tried to convince my brother and I otherwise. We wouldn't have it. My sister went to college. She's very successful. My brother and I wanted to work with my father in the tire business. My dad knew that young people in business, it can be tempting. You can go astray. It takes a lot of discipline running a small business. Small business people don't get enough credit. He drilled one thing into my brother and my mind. He told us, sons, be ambitious, do well, raise a good family, but don't you ever tarnish our name. No success would ever be rewarded, be celebrated, if you didn't do it the right way. He instilled that hard work ethic in my brother and I, and it took us to places we couldn't imagine. I'm so proud of my family. Today, my brother, neither one of us went to college. My brother's an international businessman. Literally taught himself to be an engineer in the aviation business. And I have been so fortunate to get the opportunities that I've gotten. Community was everything to me. It set the bar for me. When I was a young man in this community, I wanted a family, I wanted to work hard, and I wanted to give back. And I was so fortunate that those things came to me. My wonderful wife, Nadia, 40 years. Incredible. This is my wife, Nadia, this morning. I was getting into my car in the garage, the door popped open. Michael, I opened the door. Yes, honey. Don't be late tonight. Are you ready for tonight? I think so. She says, well, I'm going to tell you one thing. Don't forget to mention your granddaughter. That's my wife. 40 years, always caring more about everyone else than herself. No success that I could ever enjoy would have ever happened without you. Period. You've given me such a beautiful family. 2 sons, 2 daughters, and our granddaughter, Olivia. Actually, Zainab gave us the granddaughter. I think about the journey I've had in business. I think about how great this country is. How someone can transform themselves, transition themselves, reinvent themselves. This is truly the greatest country on the planet Earth, in my opinion. When I grew up, I remember being in my dad's store hearing still people talk about the Depression. I remember my grandfather. If you told my grandfather you changed careers 3 or 4 times, you weren't stable. The other thing I remember about my grandfather, when he would come down to our store in Highland Park, the first thing he would do is he'd walk right past all of us, and he wanted to go in the warehouse. And if he didn't see enough tires there, he didn't think you were doing good. These are old school ways and ways of thinking, but they left an imprint on me that has never left me. I remember when my dad started off, he had a gas station, he had 2 bays, somebody convinced him to start selling tires. Next thing you know, those bays were full of tires, and my brother and I, we would work outside through every season. We did that for many years until we had the wherewithal to build a warehouse and then buy another warehouse. I'm so proud of those times. They molded me, and I've never stopped working hard, and I've never been afraid to take a risk as far as changing a career and making a move. This country today is unbelievable. People, my father-in-law's in his late 80s, he's working at a car dealership. He got bored and went back to work. People are getting educations in their 40s and 50s. It's amazing. I've been able to transition from a small tire store to the securities industry, to working with people in real estate, and then to the Marin family. 10 years ago, I took a meeting with Matthew and his father. We sat in the Big Boy on 9 and Jefferson. We had a conversation. I still remember that meeting. I remember how Matthew's father talked to me. He started asking me about some of their warehouses, and I had never even worked for them. He's such a big thinker, such a creative man. He raised such an incredible family. The thing about him is he never stops thinking. He looks out 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and he's a good man. He's proud of his culture. One of the reasons he liked me is because I'm Lebanese. And I'm about the only one in the country that can speak Arabic with him a little bit. Matthew walks out when we start speaking Arabic, because we don't speak it very well anyways. But we get a kick out of it. You don't get to a position like I've been able to get to, high corporate position, and feel the successes that we've had at Crown Enterprise in the last decade. You don't get there alone. You don't accomplish those successes alone. I accepted this award tonight because thinking about it over the last couple of weeks, I realized it's not my award. It belongs to all the people that I've been with in my life that gave me an opportunity. Today, Crown Enterprise and many of our companies, well, all of them, are doing very well under the leadership of Matthew Maroon. And he's here this evening with his beautiful wife, Lindsay. Matthew's doing an incredible job. I think this region is fortunate to have him. And I believe there's many more good things to come from our companies. We've had some great successes, and I have no doubt in recent times at the train station, McLeod Steel, FCA, Riverside Park, I-94 Industrial Park. Southeastern Michigan has given us a lot of attention, and I'm sure that's why I'm being recognized partly this evening. We have many of our employees here tonight with us. And I want to tell you right now, I'd go anywhere with you. I'd do anything with you. You're the best of the best. And I couldn't do what we've done together. No way without you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I thought about tonight, I thought about this award, and I thought about Bridge Builder. I thought, what project did we do that really makes sense for that term? And one stood out, and that's McLeod Steel. McLeod Steel, former steel mill, opened in the 50s, shuttered in the late 80s. It had so much to do with the downriver community, with the economy. It not only affected the two cities that site straddled, Trenton and Riverview, but many cities downriver. We were able to successfully buy the McLeod Steel site from Wayne County, and we closed in late 2018. That site is almost 300 acres. It's 1.25 miles of riverfront. It's about 1 mile on Jefferson. This site's been closed for 30, maybe 25, 30 years, very contaminated. And we work together in a way that's unprecedented with local government, regional government, state government, federal government. And we made something happen that's very rare in this country. We took a site like that, it got on the NPL list with the state of Michigan, became a Superfund site. And today, we're cleaning it up. Private enterprise came together with government. And we brought individuals together that you would not believe would come together on this site. This site divided a community, many communities. But we worked together, Khalil Rahal, Wayne County, Economic Development. I wish Debbie Dingell, Congresswoman Dingell was still here. And we were able to take this site, make a deal with the EPA where private enterprise is cleaning up a Superfund site. And we did this in record time as far as getting the approval to do so. And today, these communities are working together. There's optimism. And someday, this site, with the right project on it, could be a boost not only to those communities downriver, but the whole region. So Khalil, I want to thank you for what we did together, your work. And please thank the CEO from me personally, because your patience to allow us to work through these issues with the EPA were incredible. And that's bringing people together. What I learned is when you have a project that's failing in a site that sits like McLeod Steel did, it divides. And when you have success and you make progress, it unites. Tonight is very special to me for many reasons. My entire family's here and my father's here. And I'd like to ask my sons if they would stand up with my father, please. Don't sit down yet, Dad. Don't sit down yet. Dad, what I wanted to tell you this evening is you served your country, World War II. As a Marine, and what I learned about Marines is once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine. You served your family. You did an incredible job As a young man, you not only were taking care of your family, I know you were taking care of other families. And you served your community. My father is the last living, original, founding member of the Islamic Center of America on Joy Road. My dad's going to be 94 in January. In closing, I will tell you again how thankful I am to be here this evening. If I miss somebody, I apologize, Nadia. But it's been so special to work on these projects, particularly with the municipalities, Wayne County, City of Detroit. So many diverse people working there, talented people, educated people. But I'm just astonished at our people, the positions they have, how they represent themselves, how they carry themselves, their educations. And that's been one of the bigger thrills I've had in the last few years. And working with Eric Sabri, and I did miss somebody, Eric was also very instrumental in allowing us to go forward with McLeod Steel. I apologize, Eric. You did a great job of helping us. You had the keys. You had the property and the land bank. But again, I'm so proud of our heritage, and our people are so talented. It's unbelievable, the things that they accomplish. So thank you so much for affording me this time this evening. And we look forward to doing more great things together with our company.
Congratulations, AACC awardee Michael Sandhouse. At this time, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Carl Rashid Jr., a board member of the Chamber. Mr. Rashid is also a member of DICOMA and leads the firm's property tax appeals practice. Please welcome Carl Rashid to the podium.
Thank you. Good evening. Zaid and Michael, that was fantastic, both of you. I know it was from the heart. I have had the privilege of practicing law in this area, and my specialty has been primarily property tax, real estate. So I am very familiar with the Wayne County Treasurer's Office, and I am so proud tonight to introduce to you Wayne County's Treasurer, one of our distinguished awardees, Mr. Eric Sabri of Wayne County. Eric has been the county treasurer since his appointment in April of 2016. He subsequently ran for the office and won the position. As county treasurer, he works with the 43 municipalities located in Wayne County, and he is responsible for the receipt, custody, investment, and disbursement of all county funds, and he pays very special attention to the collection of delinquent property taxes. And as most of you know, it has been an issue throughout our state, not just Wayne County. As treasurer, Eric is also chairman of the Wayne County Land Bank and a member of the Wayne County Election Commission. Through his continuous efforts, Eric is making significant strides in serving the citizens of Wayne County and reducing the number of foreclosures. During his 3-year tenure as county treasurer, he has reduced tax foreclosures by 85%. He's initiated the installation of kiosks in 16 different cities so that tax payments may be made more conveniently. He's also implemented a plan whereby people who are on payment arrangements for their taxes are sent monthly reminders via text. These are the things that Eric has implemented and strived to do to keep people in their homes. And he's done a phenomenal job. Eric also served as deputy treasurer prior to becoming treasurer. He was also with the Corporation Counsel's office as a chief assistant corporation counsel. He was in private practice on his own and also worked for the city of Detroit. It is my honor, my distinct honor, to introduce to you our awardee, Wayne County Treasurer Eric Cerruti.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Carl, for the great introduction. Always a little embarrassing to hear about yourself. I want to thank the American Arab Chamber of Commerce this evening. Thank you, Faye. All of you who did the hard work to put this event on. It's a fantastic event, fantastic organization. I want to acknowledge also our congressional delegation, Senator Stabenow, Senator Peters, Congresswoman Dingo, Congresswoman Lawrence, Congressman Levin, and all of the mayors, the council members who are here, our commissioners from the county, and all the officials. Some of them I work with all the time. I see them here tonight. Thank you very much for this honor. First of all, I want to thank God, who deserves all the praise. I want to thank again the American Arab Chamber of Commerce for this recognition and for all the work this organization is doing to strengthen communities, developing these strong communities through promotion of business, education, and strong families. I accept this award on behalf of the very talented and hardworking employees of the Wayne County Treasurer's Office. I also accept this honor on behalf of my wife, Madria, to whom I've been married to for also 40 years. I appreciate all of her support and friendship, and we have 3 wonderful children and 2 beautiful granddaughters. So the grandchildren, of course, take priority over everything now. Much of the work that I do as Wayne County Treasurer is problem solving. And before I get into that, I want to tell you, this panel of awardees, I don't know what to say, humbled to be on the stage, be honored with Michael Samhan, who I know, Zaid, who I recently met. You know, this is a great group to even be included among. Much of the work, as I said, is problem solving. I listen to problems whether they're from a single mom who fears that she's about to lose her home.
USMCA, which requires Canada to eliminate its unfair milk pricing program and further open its market to American poultry and eggs as well. USMCA also eliminates a discriminatory Canadian wheat grading process, which today automatically assigns low grades to US wheat. USMCA also contains groundbreaking provisions on currency manipulation, requiring Canada and Mexico to refrain from competitive devaluation. These rules are the first of their kind in a US trade agreement. There's much more. There's much more in USMCA that I unfortunately don't have time to cover. It includes provisions, the most advanced provisions in any US trade agreement on intellectual property, on digital trade. It has sector-specific rules to expand market access for US medical devices, chemical products, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, information and communication technology, and more. According to the US International Trade Commission, replacing NAFTA with USMCA will add more than $68 billion per year to America's economy and it will add more than 175,000 American jobs, including an estimated 50,000 in manufacturing alone. A plethora of businesses, business organizations have declared their support for the new USMCA. Just this week, the National Association of Manufacturers and more than 350 business groups wrote a letter to Congress pressing for USMCA passage. Just to be clear, Canada and Mexico have already signed the USMCA, as has the United States. What's left is for Congress, the US Congress, to pass it. Otherwise, none of USMCA's benefits will materialize. I also want to remind you of another important deal that the administration negotiated last year, which is a renegotiation of the US-Korea Free Trade Agreement, or KORUS as it's known. The most important outcomes here, again, have to do with autos. The administration negotiated a doubling of the number of US automobiles that can enter the Korean market by meeting US safety standards. And the administration obtained a longer delayed phase-out of a 25% US tariff on imports of Korean trucks. The administration also negotiated a provision where Korea recognizes US standards for auto parts. And of course, there are many other strong outcomes for other industries as well. So the administration has been working hard to deliver concrete trade policy wins for the automotive industry and its workers, and for all industries and their workers. I want to leave you with this parting message. Today, America's GDP is at a historic high. Unemployment is at a historic low. Wages are rising, including for blue-collar workers. The American economy is strong, and the administration's trade policy, including new trade deals like USMCA, will make it stronger. We in the administration, we will continue working hard every day for you, the American people. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Kessler, the Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Enforcement and Compliance. Just one round of applause. Thank you so much. I want to remind you that the silent auction items will close at 8:30, so about 25 minutes. You have to be present to win, too. So you have an opportunity to step outside for the silent auction items. That would be a good chance to do it right now. 8:30 presentation. You have to be present to win. It's now my pleasure to introduce American Arab Chamber of Commerce Board Member Suzanne Sucher. Ms. Sucher is an attorney with Dickinson Wright and specializes in immigration law. Please welcome to the stage Suzanne Sucher. Our guest tonight.
Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure and distinct honor to welcome our special guest and distinguished speaker for this evening, U.S. Ambassador John Rakolta Jr. I had the pleasure of meeting Ambassador Rakolta for the first time at a dinner last week. He shared with us that in 2017, he talked to the President, and originally the President asked him to serve as the U.S. Ambassador to Romania, or possibly Mexico. The good news is that President Trump nominated him to be the next ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, and the U.S. Senate confirmed his nomination on September 17th. If he went to Romania or Mexico, he might not be with us tonight. What I also learned attending the dinner with Ambassador Rakolta is that, like many people in this room, he comes from a family of immigrants, and he is proud of his heritage. Ambassador Rakolta's grandparents immigrated to the United States from Romania, and they have a very familiar story of a hard-working class family whose children take it to the next level and are given an opportunity to a bright future in this land of immigrants. And here's where the next chapter begins in the Rakolta family story. In 1945, Ambassador Rakolta's father, a young Detroiter by the name of John Rakolta Sr., served as the first officer on board a U.S. Army airport, B-26 Marauder, and was shot down with his crew during a bombing mission in Germany. Miraculously, he survived, but spent several weeks in a German prisoner of war camp before his release and return to the United States. Upon his return to the U.S., after serving our country, John Recolta Sr. joins Walbridge. Some of you may have heard of it. A construction company at that time almost 50 years in the making, as a timekeeper, keeping in the line with the spirit and work ethic of immigrants. Climbing that ladder in the U.S., John Recolta Sr. becomes company secretary in 1964. And in 1970, he becomes president, chairman, and CEO of Walbridge. Fast forward only 1 year, and John Recolta Jr., our now U.S. ambassador, graduates with a bachelor's degree in engineering from Marquette University, and later joins Walbridge as an estimator. In 1973, he becomes the president, and in 1993, 20 years later, chairman and CEO of what today is one of the 50 largest contractors in the United States. Today, Walbridge is a full-service construction company that has maintained its headquarters in the city of Detroit for over 100 years, with offices and projects ongoing around the world. Walbridge is consistently ranked at the top United States builder of automotive facilities, and last year was ranked #1 in automotive as well as manufacturing facilities. Under the ambassador's leadership, Walbridge has grown from a regional firm to a global firm with projects in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Ambassador Recolta is a firm believer in the value of diversity and global competition. He is a remarkable leader, not only at his firm, but in the Detroit community as well. He has served on numerous boards, such as New Detroit, Business Leaders for Michigan, and Detroit Downtown Partnership, to name just a few. He has served as co-chair of the Coalition for the Future of Detroit School Children, a group of business, civic, education, and faith leaders that lead an effort to rescue the Detroit public schools from financial collapse. He has received numerous awards, too many to be named tonight, and honored for his contributions to improving public education and race relations. Ambassador Recolta has also served as the Honorary Consul General for Romania. Today, the ambassador is eager to embrace on to the next chapter as he stepped down from Walbridge to give the next generation of Recoltas an opportunity to lead Walbridge into the future. And in accepting the opportunity to serve this country, the ambassador will bring his experience, wisdom, compassion, and business acumen to the job. Please join me in welcoming Ambassador John Recolta Jr., United States Ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, to the stage.
Wow, that was unbelievable. I wish my mother was here to have heard that. She would have been very surprised. Thank you for inviting me tonight. It's not only an honor and a privilege, but I changed my schedule when Faye asked me so I could come back, because that's how much I believe in the opportunity that we all have to not change the course, but to improve the course of the relationship here in our country with the Middle East. As you well know, the United States and the UAE enjoy a very broad and positive bilateral relationship. I won't bore you with a lot of detail and information about the relationship that you already know a lot about, but suffice to say that when you look at the trade and investment relationship, the military and security cooperation, the joint space exploration program that's currently underway, the educational exchanges that have taken place over the last 2 decades, and the regional diplomatic relationships trying to bring a long and enduring peace to the Middle East, you know that the United States has a great partner in the UAE. Of course, as you also know, I'm not a stranger to Arab American community of businesses here in Southeast Michigan, having employed and done business with many of you over the years. We have also partnered for a very long time, as was mentioned, through New Detroit, which is an organization dedicated to closing the gap. And Walbridge, surprisingly, had a very active role in the UAE from about 2002 to 2012, where we were able to construct some of the largest infrastructure projects that they had. What I didn't know, and I know today, is that I am going to be the first political appointed ambassador in the history of that country. And that brings a very unusual opportunity because business guys, like myself, sort of have a different set of, probably not values, but a different set of skills and experiences. And while I'll be responsible for a broad range of initiatives, the one that's the closest to my heart is to expand the business opportunities that small businesses have in the UAE and to expand educational and cultural exchange. I wanted to first say that I have a lot to learn. Being a diplomat is a lot tougher than being a businessman, especially one that owns his own company. You're able, when you're a business guy, to sort of...
In the new faces that have joined us, I am truly and genuinely humbled by all the support that exists in this room. If there is something the Chamber excels in, it is the ability in introducing our members to business partners, investors, distributors, and agents. Our work underlines the impact of a global economy and how the state of Michigan is part of it. We are one of the bridges that help to build Michigan economically. If there is a premise that I would like to make tonight, it's that we will continue to work hard to enhance the services to our members. We will continue to develop innovative programs tailored to meet the needs of our members, businesses, and the greater community. We will continue to be the connector and the bridge builder. The American Area Chamber of Commerce has the potential to have a strong economic impact on our region over the next 20 years with your support. I ask you to partake in these new initiatives and work with us as we develop a vibrant and progressive economic environment in our business community. Producing this event and this wonderful gala tonight, as well as maintaining the programs of the Chamber Champions Daily, cannot be accomplished without the dedicated support of our staff, our volunteers, and the consultants that we work with. Please help me in giving our volunteers and staff a round of applause, especially Emily Salami and Cindy Berry, who have been instrumental in preparing for this evening tonight. It truly takes a village, and we are grateful and honored to have an array of sponsors and volunteers who believe in our mission and are the cornerstones of the Chamber's reach and success. I would like to thank all our sponsors, who you see in our book and on the sides. And I would also like to thank for their generosity in believing in our mission. In the end, if you are already a member, I encourage you to join the Chamber. There are interest cards on the tables for you to complete and leave on the table, or call the Chamber for more information. And don't forget about our phenomenal health insurance plan that we have for small business. Brochures are also located at your tables, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you. That wasn't too bad, was it? So now I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our first speaker for the evening. Jeff Donofrio is the director of the new Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. He is charged with building a strong state economy by developing and implementing policies that enable greater opportunity for the workforce and economic development, including a focus on closing the skills gap and boosting economic potential for business. He is excited to work on breaking down work barriers, supporting Michigan job growth, building vibrant communities, creating affordable housing, generating tourism, and attracting and retaining key talent to fill Michigan's vast pipeline of opportunities. Jeff brings a wealth of experience in improving success in policy, government, workforce development, and building strong partnerships with business and labor leaders. Prior to joining the state of Michigan, Jeff served as the Executive Director of Workforce Development for the City of Detroit, where he oversaw the city's workforce system and was charged with development and implementation of strategies to increase residential employment and household income and improve the economic competitiveness of Michigan's largest community. As the Executive Director, he helped increase residential employment by more than 20,000 and the expansion and management of the city's summer youth programs. Grow Detroit's Young Talent, which provides more than 8,000 youth with paid summer jobs each year. Before joining Mayor Mike Duggan's staff, Donofrio as an executive at Ford Motor Company based in Washington, D.C. Jeff also served as District Director for Congressman Sandy Levin and Congressman John Dingell and Transportation Policy Advisor to Governor Jennifer Granholm. He grew up working in his family's bar, restaurant, and bowling alley, Clemente's, located in Lincoln Park, Michigan, that was opened by his great-grandparents in the 1920s. Donofrio serves on the boards of United Way for Southeastern Michigan, Michigan State Housing Development Authority, and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. In 2018, he was appointed by Governor Whitmer's transition team as Special Advisor for Jobs and Economic Development and was named to Crane's 40 Under 40 class. Join me in welcoming Jeff Donofrio, Director of the new Department of Labor and Economic Growth, for his remarks on the potential growth and vision for the state of Michigan.
Well, thank you, Faye, and it really is an honor to be here tonight. I do want to congratulate the leadership of the Chamber, because what an amazing crowd and what an amazing organization that you continue to maintain here in Dearborn and throughout the state of Michigan. I got to tell you, one of my first jobs was working for a Chamber of Commerce, and I know how important they are to creating a community and to helping businesses, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and large businesses be able to grow. And so the work you do is incredibly important. I want to thank Faye for the introduction. Way too much of a bio for just a humble guy like myself. But Faye and I met each other about 15 years ago. We were both graduated from high school. But no, when I was actually, we started working for John Dingell here in the city of Dearborn. And I learned a lot from Congressman Dingell that we lost this last year. Just an amazing man, an amazing leader, and really a true public servant who always put, I think, people before himself. I want to say, it was no surprise to me that Governor Whitmer would appoint Faye Beydoun to help us head and lead workforce development and economic development in the state of Michigan by being on the MEDC board. And let's just give Faye another round of applause. I don't think you can congratulate Faye. I also want to introduce a member of the Leo team, but also a cabinet member of Governor Whitmer's, Faye Rasad, who is the head of the Office of Global Michigan Affairs. Would you stand, please? Faye Ruse will be adding to the population of Michigan here, I think, in January. Right? Thank you for doing that. We need everybody to help us move forward. At this event a year ago, you heard from Governor Whitmer. You heard her talk about the need to make sure that Michigan remains a place where families and businesses can thrive, where our children have access to opportunity that really is greater than ourselves or greater than our parents, and where everyone is valued and has the opportunity to achieve the American dream. You've heard a little bit about my background and my great-grandparents who came from a small village in the mountains of Italy. They came over here in the 1920s. They wanted to be entrepreneurs, right? They sought a better life for themselves. They encountered some struggles and obstacles, but they persevered. They opened a restaurant at a bar and a bowling alley, 6 lanes, that really stayed in the community for 80 years. It became a central place for our family, but for also our extended family. And it was such an amazing thing to be a part of that growing up. But when they looked around, and why did they start that small business? It wasn't just to run a bar. It wasn't just to bowl for free on the weekends. It was because they wanted to provide a better life for their families. It was because they wanted a better education for us than they had. We all have to fight to make sure that that opportunity is available for our children and for the new set of immigrants that are coming to our shores today. We have a lot of headwinds facing our state. We are in one of the most unprecedented set of growth, economic growth, longest period in our history of economic growth in this country. But that growth has not been felt by everyone. Economic inequality and income disparity is at its highest level in the last 50 years. Since 2000, our state has seen household income grow at a far slower pace than the rest of the country. And most of that growth has gone to the top 20% of income earners. We have to change this. It shouldn't be any surprise then that people are struggling, that for those even who are employed, Michigan families, 43% struggle to make ends meet, struggle to have the income and the resources to just meet their household needs. But there's a way for us to reverse these trends. In past generations, right, many of us came here, many of our families came here because of the pull of the auto industry, because you could get a good manufacturing job without even sometimes having to have a high school diploma. But in the last 20 years, what we know both nationally and here in the state of Michigan is that the best indicator of success for a family or for an individual is education. And it's post-secondary education. A college degree, a college certificate. That's why Governor Whitmer set a goal of making sure that 60% of our state's population has completed a post-secondary degree by 2030. And that's going to take a lift by all of us to make sure we can do that. She introduced the Michigan Reconnect and Michigan Opportunity programs that provide a tuition-free path for individuals. Youth who are graduating from high schools and adults over the age of 25 who are looking to better themselves, right, to find a new job, a new skill. Now, we hope the legislature is going to help us with that, and we're looking forward to putting that in place. But there's another thing that we will not be able to do. We're not going to be able to reach that goal without strong immigration to this state. We have to be a welcoming state for immigrants. We have to make Michigan a national leader in retaining and connecting immigrants to jobs, and to education, and to training. Specifically, we have to make sure that we attract more immigrants with college degrees. We have to make sure that the states and counties and others who are working together with us help us do that as well, those partnerships that are so important. We have to retain the international students that are here today studying in our state and can help start the next mobility company, or the next GM, or the next one. And we have to enable Michigan's immigrants and their population, and their children, to obtain those post-secondary degrees. Be assured that Feiruz, myself, Governor Whitmer are all dedicated to this cause. We're almost a year away from the next presidential election. And what we saw over the last few years, and what we saw really in that election, was a lot of division that was sowed amongst ourselves and amongst the country. A lot of hate that's been spewed by various groups. And I would just say this: we need to lock arms. We need to say that we reject racism, that we reject bigotry, that we reject intolerance, that we are all Americans, and every person should be entitled to the American dream. So I want to thank you again for having me here tonight. There's so many familiar faces in the crowd. Many of you I probably haven't met yet, but want to. I even ran into my 6th grade teacher here in the back, who's probably grading me on the speech as we speak. But I look forward to our continued partnership. I know that I pass along the great greetings and well wishes from the governor. And again, thank you and congratulations tonight.
How about an A+ for student Jeff Donacrio, Director of the Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. Thank you, Jeff. A little bit of an unabashed plug here, just a reminder that the silent auction items are out in the hallway, and an opportunity to step out there about an hour away from shutting those down. A lot of great items. Feel free to go out there and bid on those silent auction items if you haven't already done so. We sure appreciate that. Sure appreciate all those folks who sponsored those items that are on the tables outside of this hall. It is now indeed a great pleasure to introduce Ahmed Jabani, who in 1992 co-founded the American Arab Chamber of Commerce to empower business owners and bridge the divide between commerce culturally, ethnically, and economically. Mr. Jabani currently serves as chairman of the AACC. Ahmed Jabani is an entrepreneur who started Omnex Accounting and Tax Firm in 1987, which has grown to be the largest tax consulting firm in the area. Omnex Accounting and Tax Services was featured on PBS's Small Business School program as a model of small business success and was aired in over 200 cities around the country. In 2010, he spun off Innovative Payroll Processing Company to serve as an independent operation to serve the larger business market and now has clients in over 25 states. Ahmed serves on the Community Advisory Board for Beaumont Hospital and on the Board of Trustees for the Community Foundation of Southeast Michigan. He has received numerous awards such as the Detroit News Michiganing of the Year, Corp Magazine Salute to Diversity Award winner, State of Michigan Governor's Service Award for outstanding service given to Michigan students, and the Civic Service Award from the National Conference for Community and Justice, NCCJ, to name just a few. Ahmed is frequently a host to foreign national advisors from across the globe as they look to engage Detroit as an economic hub between the U.S. and the Middle East in business partnership. His lifelong advocacy on behalf of the Arab American entrepreneurs domestically and internationally has been top priority in his business practice, whether it is assisting CEOs across the globe or neighbors across the street. Ahmed Jabani is called on to create links and find solutions to complex social, economic, and regional challenges. Please give a warm welcome to the chairman of the board, Mr. Ahmed Jabani.
We're going to keep this voice of God, it's good. I guess some of you have missed a small print invite that is a black tie option. We'll slide for some of you. I respect a lot of you who will go around tonight. And we're going to make it a tradition. So at one point, you cannot enter this room unless you are dressed as requested. Thank you for being with us tonight. And we start with the honorable officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Arab American Chamber of Commerce 27th anniversary for Building Economic Bridges Gala. And thank you for joining us tonight as we continue the tradition of recognizing leadership, entrepreneurship, and economic development. For 27 years, I've witnessed the original vision of this organization manifest itself, and I'm delighted that all of you have become an integral part of it. I'd like to thank our members, partners, supporters, distinguished leaders of our community, and guests for being with us tonight. I'd like to extend my congratulations to tonight's awardees and express my gratitude to our sponsors, especially our event partners, America Bank and DTE Energy. And I see, and I'm happy to see previous awardees in our room. I'm very delighted that you continue to support us, continue to be present in our presence. The Arab American Chamber of Commerce has been fortunate to have the support and guidance of numerous devoted board members, visionary leaders, and committed staff of volunteers over the past 7 years. Their efforts have ensured that the programs of the Chamber's champions continue to strive. I'd like to recognize them individually. I'd like to recognize my board of directors for their leadership and commitment and dedication. You need to hold your applause because all of them deserve the applause equal the same because they all contribute equally and they all are equally valuable to me. I'm going to start. Please hold it. Attorney James Berry, Assistant Corporate Counsel, Wayne County, VP of the organization. Attorney Suzanne Zucker, Counsel at Dickinson Wright, Treasurer. Mr. Fuad Asha, Entrepreneur. and retired important individual from DTA, secretary, attorney Ali Daga, co-founder of this Arab American Chamber of Commerce, and a lawyer in private practice, Dr. Mahmoud Hadidi, president of Stockbridge Enterprises. Please, you can stand if you want to, because eventually you're going to give you a big thank you. And Mr. Jay Baidoun, Senior VP at Bank of America. Ms. Amal Berry, Manager of Diversity and Inclusion at DTA Energy. Dr. Michael Boulos, President of Boulos Enterprises. Mr. Larry Bryant, Senior VP and Retail Regional Director of American Bank. Mr. Greg Clark, VP of External Affairs at AT&T. Dr. Ali Farhad, Director of Internal Medicine, Bowman Hospital. Mr. Muhammad Isa, President of Global Educational Excellence. Ms. Jessica Pellegrino, President Pellegrino Consulting. She's not an Arab, she's an Arab wannabe. Honorary Arab. Attorney Carl Rashid, Attorney at Law of Dagenham. Mr. Muhammad Sadat, Relationship and Area Manager at Chase Bank. Ms. Mary Satina, Little Queen, Senior VP at Bowman College. And let me not, forget, and also give lots of credit and recognition to our Executive Director, Faye Baidoun. Now please give a This chamber fully supports the efforts of local and state governments to welcome immigrants. As Jeff just mentioned, immigrants have played a powerful role in bolstering our economy. Case in point, over the last decade, a third of the high-tech companies were incepted by foreign-born individuals and immigrants. On a national level, 28% of the small business were founded by immigrants. The numbers speak for themselves. I'm fortunate that I live in a state where we embrace that entrepreneurial spirit in all of its forms. Along the same lines, that same entrepreneurial spirit of the Middle Eastern community has taken shape in the city of Detroit. With the growth and expansion of many small businesses, our community continues to play a critical role in the regional economic comeback and investing in the metropolitan area. As an organization built on foundation of fostering relationships, eliminating barriers, and encouraging collaboration, we are optimistic of our regional efforts. It is with great pride that I announce the continued economic development of Warren Avenue Shopping District in the city of Dearborn, while making that part of the city a destination for a unique cultural experience. Pioneering this effort is our only mayor, the mayor of the city of Dearborn, Mayor Jack O'Reilly. Through his backing and unconditional support of the organization, that part of the city will inevitably transform into a flourishing and dynamic business district. We will market this district as the souk. If people don't know what a souk is, souk in Arabic means the market. The transformation will begin with welcoming Bridge into the city, into the center of the district, with the word souk, inviting visitors to a unique experience of shopping and eating in the district along with the welcoming center. Thank you all for your support and your vision. Our local economic successes have been translated into an overreaching economic strides on both the national and international scale to leverage the international culture and business network with the aim of building entrepreneurial trade hub for Michigan. In order to put Michigan on the international trade map, we're not able to do it alone. The American Arab Chamber of Commerce, with 11 other ethnic Chamber of Commerce, in a continuous effort of building economic relationships. Some of these ethnic chambers in the council include the Detroit Chinese Business Association, the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and the Michigan Irish American Chamber of Commerce, and just to name a few. With the collective strength and unity of the ethnic chambers, we're looking forward to a shared interest in expanding our international trade horizon. Through our commitment to uniting the ethnic chambers, our intent is to reach across the island, and in doing so, we would like to provide mutual services and ensure a more effective use of our food resources. I'm humbled by our growth, and would like to take the opportunity again to thank our board of directors at the Arab American Chamber of Commerce for the dedication and support. I'd like to thank our business partners and sponsors.
We have Mr. Gary Peters with us here tonight at the American Arab Chamber of Commerce, and we thank you for being here. We thank you for supporting our community. We would love to know some of the things that you are working on to help this community.
Well, I'm working a lot on economic development. What I do in the United States Senate is I really focus on small businesses to make sure we're creating vibrant businesses in Michigan. There's no question that small businesses create most of the jobs in our community. So having the American Arab Chamber of Commerce event tonight, really celebrating small business and entrepreneurs within the Arab American community, it's really something very special.
Yes, I agree. It was a great turnout. You had a lot of leaders here, and it's nice to work with them and have their partnership with you.
Oh, it is, and it's about a community coming together and working together, and the diversity of the greater Detroit area and of Michigan, and having a vibrant Arab American community really adds to the success of our community, the success of our state. It's the success of our country, and tonight we were really celebrating that and celebrating decades of service for the Chamber of Commerce and in promoting business, entrepreneurship, and job creation here in Michigan.
It's great to see you're working hard for us, and we do appreciate it, as always. Thank you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you. We have Mr. Eric Sabri with us here tonight at the American Arab Chamber of Commerce Gala, and you did a great job. Congratulations. There was a great turnout.
Thank you very much. It was a great event. The American Arab Chamber of Commerce really promotes business, but it also promotes family. Development of strong communities and family, and that's what I really appreciate. I'm honored to be part of the program and to receive this award.
Yes, there's a lot of great things happening in the city, and it's nice to see that you're taking charge, and the city and the people are really benefiting from your hard work.
They're benefiting, and it's the whole county too. It's contagious. When you start helping, things start getting better. People are investing in their communities, and people who haven't been doing anything start helping. So I believe that we can get these foreclosures down to zero. I believe it can happen. We just have to find more ways to inspire people to get involved, and I really appreciate it.
Yes, so do you have any new programs that are coming up to help people stay in their homes and avoid foreclosures?
Well, one of the things, we have payment plans that we already have in existence, but we also are really encouraging people who may be exempt. Their income allows them to be exempt from taxes, because the law says if they make less than a certain amount, they can get a full exemption or a partial exemption. So we're encouraging those individuals who are low income to go to their county, their city assessor's office, find out if they're eligible for an exemption, because if they're eligible for an exemption, then they don't have to pay the taxes. And of course, if they don't have to pay the taxes, they're not going to get foreclosed. So for the low-income individuals, we're really working hard trying to get them involved in the exemption process if they're eligible.
Yes, so it's a good idea for people to get to know what they're eligible for. They really need to be somewhat educated.
Also, the Step Forward program, which is a forgivable loan through the state of Michigan. It's federal funds. They're going to stop accepting applications November 30th. So if you have a deed in your name, you live in the home, you've had some hardship that caused you to fall behind and face foreclosure, you can apply for Step Forward funds, stepforwardmichigan.org. stepforwardmichigan.org. Their applications are open until November 30th. So we're encouraging people to apply to Step Forward. Over $63 million has been spent in Michigan, Wayne County alone, just to help people get out of tax foreclosure. Yeah, over 7,000 people have benefited from that program. So we're working on that too.
You do great work, and we do appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And it's nice to see that you're out there working for us. Thank you.
I enjoy it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.